We're kind of prisoners of our minds. We say trapped in the same old thinking. Relationships make cultures sticky. They make jobs sticky. They make people want to stay. We are social beings. We want the relationship. And if you can change perception and wow the customer, you've just built a loyal customer for life. You know, the average US worker works for about 47 years, works for 46 weeks a year with vacations and stuff like that, sleeps for 8 hours, works about 40 hours a week, and this is just the average worker. I know this is none of us. But when you do the math, what it comes out to being is you spend 1/3 of your life sleeping. You spend 1/3 of your life working, and you spend 1/3 of your life doing everything else. Wow. Life is really short. 1/3 of it sleeping and 1/3 of it working. Work better have some meaning to it, right? Because if you end up like this, that sucks. That's 1/3 of your life like this. And when one part of your life sucks, it affects the other parts. Like, think about your personal lives. If any of you have ever gone through a health issue or a relationship problem, it affects your sleep. It affects work. You know why? Because you're the same person. This philosophy that work and life are separate things. Keep your personal life home. I mean, you're the same person. Unless you have multiple personality disorders, like you are that person at home and at work. Work needs to have meaning, and all work can have meaning. There's been a ton of research on this, and it's been very interesting. We've done a lot of work with looking at amusement parks. And take Disney, for example. So how can you help people find meaning that are cleaning toilets or janitors? How can you help them find meaning? So how can, you know, and if you look at Disney, Disney is supposed to be the magical place on earth, right? So everyone's mission, from the person who's cleaning the toilet to the person who's putting on the goofy suit, their job, they are empowered to make every customer walking through the door experience magic. The person cleaning the seat understands that that's what their role is. It's creating a magical experience, even by cleaning the toilet seat. That's what meaningful life is. It's helping people tie in their role to the bigger picture. Again, it doesn't cost 1 cent. But how does everyone's role make everything work? That is a very easy way to give people meaning, even from cleaning the seats. Also, how do you get from here to here? How do I go from cleaning the toilets to putting on the goofy suit? How do I create that career path? That is a very important thing to do in your industry. Even though it might not seem like there are many career paths, get creative. Because as humans, we need to grow. We need to develop. Otherwise, we stagnate and we die. And die in this case means we disengage and we go find a different job. Because as humans, we feel obligated to do unto others as they have done to us. But it's not just when a customer walks in your store giving them a Coke or a Diet Coke. I'm not talking about that. That's not reciprocity. What I'm talking about is an example of one of my colleagues that works with me. He recently went to buy a car, and he was going between 2 dealerships. And what cinched it for him, and actually the dealership that cinched it was a teeny bit more expensive. What cinched it for him is his 2 kids were getting so tired and so rowdy that the salesman said to him, you know what, why don't you have, we're coming close, why don't you have your wife drive the kids home? I will drive you home after we just finish this stuff up. That cinched it for him. That's reciprocity. Because that gave him something personal and meaningful. That salesperson drove 45 minutes to drop him home after. That was a meaningful favor. So I'm not talking about just me giving you something. Reciprocity has to do with it's personal, and it means something important to me. Now think about this in your personal lives. How many of you have ever stayed in a job that you haven't liked? Okay, and what excuse have you told yourself? And if you're sitting next to your boss right now, don't say it. But what excuses do you tell yourself?
Not going to make any more money, I'm not going to make as much money, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm never going to find a great job again. Again, those rationalizations start coming up all over the place. And so you end up, because you don't want to lose what you have, you end up staying there against all the good advice that you hear. We're kind of prisoners of our minds. We say trapped in the same old thinking. Again, very protective, but not great when we're trying to make business decisions. Not great when we're trying to run companies. Not great when we're trying to think in innovative ways. One of the biggest things that kills our ability to be agile is our human resistance to change. This is the big killer. And this is what we're going to be focusing on today. The bottom line, I don't care if you think you're good at change, none of us are good at change. Our bodies, our minds are designed to resist change. So in reality, our bodies, our minds are meant to be not agile. It actually takes a lot of work to be mentally agile. So why are we so resistant? Because all of us are so resistant. First and foremost, everything in our minds, everything in our bodies is designed to maintain equilibrium. And when one thing goes off kilter, it messes us up. And I'm talking about even little things. Like if you're being asked to eat a bagel for breakfast when you've eaten fruit salad every morning of your life for 20 years, that little teeny change can mess you up. Because the first thing that happens is your brain responds. The second thing that happens is that you interpret what's happening. The interpretation comes later. It's not a big deal. But that first impact on your brain, it actually triggers the same part of your brain that's triggered as when a gun is held up to your head. But you need the interpretation to know that it's not a big deal. It's a bagel and it's yummy and it's going to be good. We're all going to